Hello, Naomi here. It's time to talk about the games I completed in June. This month, I only completed 5 games. Now, for some, 5 in 1 month is a lot, but to be honest, I was sick the majority of the month, so my hours played was much lower than normal. I'm doing better now and still managed to play some great games, so without further ado, let's talk about them. The first game I completed was Red Dead Redemption 2. In May, I played the first game, and even though it wasn't my favorite, I of course needed to play the second game. This is an action-adventure game set in the American Wild West in 1899. The main character is Arthur Morgan, who is a member of a gang on the run after a robbery had gone bad. There is an honor rating in this game, as the player will have opportunities to complete different quests or respond to situations differently. I did achieve the highest moral rating. Even while trying my hardest to make Arthur a hero, I would not call him a good guy by any means. In fact, one thing I disliked about the first game was that I felt like the main character of that game, John, wasn't a good guy, and I have a hard time connecting to morally gray main characters most of the time. Well, I had an even harder time connecting to Arthur than I did John. Another thing I disliked about the first game that was even more prominent this time round was the emphasis on looking at the nature or the scenery. I'll give an example. At one stage of the game, there is a scene where the player is simply riding horseback from point A to point B, and in that time, an entire song is played. It was part of the story, so it was shown somewhat like a cinematic, but nothing else was happening during that time, and I found myself getting bored. Now, all that griping aside, I am so glad I finally played this game and experienced the story for myself. So although I'm happy I finally played it, I don't see myself choosing to play it again. Next, I played Sea of Stars, and this is an amazing game. This is a turn-based RPG where the main characters, Valerie and Zell, use the power of the sun and moon to fight against the creations of an evil alchemist. There are also other characters that join the main heroes on their journey. The fighting party mostly consists of 3 characters, but you can swap out reserve characters mid-battle. Also, although combat is turn-based, there is a timed element to some attacks and blocks, which keeps the player on their toes. The story is fantastic. You really get to know all of the characters and the world they inhabit. Visually, the game is beautiful. It's colorful and invokes that nostalgic feeling. I feel like Sea of Stars has been talked about a lot in the gaming community of late, but it's for a good reason. I really have nothing negative to say about this game. It's amazing, beautiful, fantastic. You should play it. Moving on, we have SpiderMan II. Now, this is a game I really wanted to play day one, but I decided to wait for it to go on sale, and I was finally able to pull the trigger. I really love both the first game and the Miles Morales game. In both of those games, I did every side quest and got every collectible. So what did I think of this newest entry? Well, I loved it. I actually think I enjoyed the story in Spider-Man 2 more than the previous entries. I again did all the quests and all the little things on the map, although I didn't collect every suit this time because I lost interest in the costumes at a certain point. I really thought it was cool how Peter and Miles' stories were intertwined. I feel like they did a good job of letting each hero shine in their own way. Although it did feel like Peter was the main character, Miles had a great arc as well. The villains are where this game shines. Each villain really has their own beats that allow them to have a wider range than the typical villain box. I couldn't be happier with how much they were able to pack into this game. After the credits, they teased the next Spider-Man game, and I'm ready for it. Uncharted Drake's Fortune is the first game in the Uncharted series. Although I have owned all the Uncharted games for quite some time now, I've never gotten around to playing them, so this was my first venture into this world. These are action-adventure third-person shooters. I really enjoy Indiana Jones, and I could see some parallels or at least some influences from Indiana in this game. There are some very light puzzles in this game, and I do mean light. I kind of hesitate even calling them puzzles because they're so straightforward. The story is a little over the top, but fun. This is also a very short game. I probably would have played it a lot sooner if I had realized just how short it is. Overall, I enjoyed my time with this game. It was fun and didn't overstay its welcome. The last game of the month was Uncharted 2 Among Thieves. With this entry, I had pretty much all the same feelings I had with the first entry, only better. The puzzles had a little more meat on them, but again, they're still very straightforward and barely count as puzzles, yet they're better than the first game. The story isn't linear in the first half of the game or so, but it isn't confusing at all, and it really enhances the suspense. They managed to take everything that worked in the first game and then make it even better. One thing I would like to mention is that with both Uncharted games, although I'm showing the PlayStation 3 versions to clearly show which game I'm talking about, I'm actually playing the PlayStation 4 versions from this collection. Well, that's everything I played June 2024. My favorite game of the month would have to be Sea of Stars. And for anyone keeping track, my total games completed for the year is now 41. If you're still watching, thank you so much. If you enjoyed this video and haven't already, please consider giving it a like and subscribing. Well, that's all for today. Until next time, happy gaming!